Hey, Austin, just before we get started, we didn't see a lineup yet. You are in catching?
I'm playing.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yes, I'm catching.
The last two games, evident how good that Blue Jays offense can be. What can you gather from those two games that could possibly help you with Rodon this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, they came out ready to go from the first inning, both games. So, definitely trying to get to good spots early and not, take any pitch for chance and be aggressive, but, into good spots.
With Rodon, what tells you he has his best stuff early on?
When he has location, it's not necessarily about the stuff for me with him. It's more about how he's, executing the pitch in the location that we want to go to. So, hopefully we got that going tonight.
You can stay in the same row with Bruce. The first row up here, sorry.
What's the mindset of the ball club in your mind facing elimination?
Same as it was last week. We got to win today. And the real only focus is going out there at 8 o'clock and doing what we can to, get Bieber off the mound as quickly as we can and put up a lot of runs so that, Carlos can go out there and do what he does best.
Is there any reason when you look back over the last bunch of years that this team has responded well when you've been in that hole before?
You said any reason?
Any reason why this club just seems to respond, almost play its best ball when your backs are to the wall?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's kind of where we've been, this year. And it shows the resilience of the team and, it shows the character of the players and our belief in each other. So, it doesn't feel like an elimination game per se, but, we're going out there knowing we got to win tonight.
Up front on your left, Austin. Brian?
Austin, you were behind the plate for the games in Toronto. What is your take on why Toronto seemed to jump on you guys so quickly?
I think that they just didn't miss any mistakes. We threw some really competitive pitches to some spots in the zone, and they were ready for it. So, it's definitely a little bit of a re-evaluation after, 2 games like that, but we're confident in our ability to play here at home. And like I said, we go back there for Game 5, and it's anybody's game.
On the row behind, Peter?
Hey, Austin. With what Cam Schlittler's done this postseason, you Savage and rookies kind of across this postseason, what do you think's allowed these young pitchers to come up and just have the instant impact that they have? Yeah,
I mean, there's like you said, all those guys coming in and really shoving. I think that they have nasty stuff. A lot of it is maybe some stuff guys haven't seen before. For example, the Savage guys splitter from that angle. Not many guys throw like that. So I think there's definitely a bit of an element of surprise and not a lot of data backing what their stuff actually does and what to expect. So there's definitely an element of surprise there. But I mean, I feel like every guy's coming up with nasty stuff and it keeps getting better. So.
And with Cam, I'll ask too, just like with him coming up in July, obviously, just how valuable do you think him coming up that early in the season, having these 3 months leading up to now, have been for him?
Yeah, I mean, for him personally, I feel like it gave him the experience to go out there and do what he did in the first game of his career in the postseason last week. So, and for us, I think he helped stabilize us a little bit there in the middle too, which led us to being tied for first in the AL East. So, yeah.
Against the wall on your right, Brendan?
Austin, you mentioned hopefully getting to Bieber early and getting him out early. How do you guys go about that?
Well, I think we're going to have a hitters meeting here soon and try to figure out that plan. But definitely just being aggressive in the zone. I think that's probably, going to be our take. And, I don't really have a couple secrets to give out here, but maybe we'll talk about it after the game.
A little bit further back, Andy?
Couldn't help but notice your T-shirt. Is that an intentional tribute to your former teammate, and or was it just what was hanging in your locker, maybe? But what did you learn from Jose about calling a game specifically? Yeah,
a little bit of both. But yeah, I mean, just Jose, just being the guy that was there for me this last year, my first year. It's led me to just have incredible belief in the work that that I'm doing to help the team win, and also not taking any pitches for granted. So they all count the same, whether we're up 10 or it's a close game. So I think that was like one of the main key points that he helped me with. And, just the amount of work that it goes into, creating a game plan to call for, one time through a lineup, let alone a couple times. It's, that was just really some of the stuff that he helped me with last year in the early parts and throughout the playoff run last year.
Right up front, Ron.
Luke indicated Saturday after the game that a lot of the discussion of not to be pitch tipping had gotten in his head and trying to get comfortable in mechanics. What can you do in catching him to just let him be himself?
Yeah, I mean, when you cross over the white line, you got to be just full competitor. You can practice all you want before, but when it's game time, I think you just got to be aggressive and be on the attack, and you can't let some of those things hold you back a little bit. So, just for me, it's just emphasizing that and reiterating that. Going in, just be aggressive, attack the zone, and do what you do best, and it's going to work out more times than not.
Had he expressed that to you, that just all the tinkering had been getting to him?
No.
Same row on the end, Eric.
Austin, when Cam came up in early July, was there one or two things that really struck you where you said, this kid at this level is going to be okay?
Yeah, I mean, even in spring training, just getting to catch him a few times, definitely knew the stuff was real, and he had the ability to pitch. So I felt like it was a matter of time before he did come up here and help us this year or beginning of next year. So, obviously I'm glad he came up when he did and rattled off some really great starts for us and is still doing it. So just the way that he composes himself on the mound, he turns on to a different character really for me. And I notice it, and you see him walking off the mound, kind of no emotion. I think it's pretty cool. So he's definitely a guy you want on the mound for sure.
Second row on your left, Austin. Randy.
Austin, yesterday most of you guys had most of the day off. After two losses like that in Toronto, do you use that time to get your mind off baseball for a while? I know you're a guy that likes a lot of video. Do you watch more? Did any of the guys get together to try to talk it out, and kind of a strategize, panic situation? Hey, we got to turn this around. What was yesterday like for you and maybe some of the other guys?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Everyone handles loss in different ways. For me, just use it as a mental reset day. Get in, get some treatment, and be ready to go today. For others, I'm sure there was a lot of discussion about, what the next step is going to be going into today. So, it's to each their own with that in that regard. But, I feel like the spirits were high yesterday, and the fact that we didn't get in too late the night before and had a good day rest, I think it's going to benefit us.
Other questions for Austin? I'll go to Nathan in the second row.
Austin, what kind of advantage can it be playing here at home? Like when you think back to those games 2 and 3 against the Red Sox last week, what kind of impact did that have on you guys as players?
Yeah, I mean, playing here, I think, it's one of the hardest places to play as an opponent. So you got the fans, you got the aura of the stadium working against you. So for us, we have all the confidence that we can, win every game, but especially when we're here. We got the fans behind us, and the energy that they bring and the energy that we have being at home. I definitely feel like it helps us, and it's helped us, throughout the year as well.
Anything else for Austin? Hazel will go to the back.
As a catcher, what is your perspective as to why Shane Bieber had success early on and throughout his career in Cleveland?
I don't know. I hadn't really seen him throw at all. So, watching him the last couple days is the first time I've really seen him throw.
Cam, can you just kind of describe what your last 4 days or so have been since walking off the mound after 8 innings in Game 3 of the division or of the wild card series?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that night, it was good to celebrate. Get to Toronto, enjoy the off day. Obviously the last, 2-3 days haven't been, what we've been looking for as a team. So, again, moved on from that and, focusing on this series.
We'll go to Jake, the third row on your right.
Both the workload and the intensity of the pitches that you threw in that start were both pretty high. I'm curious, has it been any different recovering from a night from an outing like that than some of the other ones you've had this year?
Yeah, again, I mean, in the minors, you don't really go above 95 pitches. So, again, velo was a tad bit up, and workload was up. So, for me, again, bounced back pretty good. Just, again, trying to make sure, this late into October, and kind of the farthest I've gone in my career, just making sure that I'm staying on top of, my routine and recovery in the training room and weight room.
Phil, the third row in the left center aisle.
Cam, what enabled you to lock in so much that you did in that game with all the pressure on your shoulders? What enabled you to lock in the way you did?
Yeah, I think just, being confident in the team and the situation we were in, and, being confident in myself. So, again, it was just another day for me, just showing up, making sure I was, staying within myself, and, obviously some external factors. But, at the end of the day, I knew what I needed to do, and the team knew what we needed to do, and, we were able to go out there and perform at the highest level.
Up front on your left, Peter.
Hey, Cam. With what you've done, with what Savage did the other day, and just what rookies across the sport have been doing in this postseason, just what do you think has allowed young guys to come up and have such an instant impact this year?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's impressive. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders as a rookie. So, I know what he was experiencing the other day, and, he had a great game. So, again, I think, the guys that, separate themselves and be the ones that are confident in themselves, and, just going out there and treating it like another game.
Second row on your right, John.
The guys talk a lot about being able to succeed with their backs against the wall. Obviously, you were able to do that last week. If you pitch tomorrow, it'll be again. For you personally, how does that impact you, and how do you see the whole team being able to thrive in those situations?
Yeah, again, I mean, guys have talked about it all year. We've, been in these situations before. We've dealt with the adversity. So, again, last week we were able to, perform, when we needed to, and, I expect, the team to go out there and do that tonight, and, get a shot tomorrow and then take it back to Toronto. So, again, I think just, trusting each other in the locker room, and, with how bonded we are in there, just, trusting ourselves and each other as a team, and just going out there and, treating it like another game, and, not letting the, the noise get too loud.
Against the wall on your right, Cam. Greg?
Cam, how would you describe what it's been like throwing to Austin, and how much has he helped you in game prep, game calling, and all that?
Yeah, Austin's been great. We've built a really good connection. Even Ben as well. So I have a really good connection with both of them, and been able to, again, specifically with Austin, again, he's caught me a little bit more. So we've been able to build that that relationship and trust, and I thought we had a really good game plan going into the other day, and I think as the two of us, we've been getting more compatible in terms of being on the same page with how we want to attack hitters in certain situations.
That's something that started as far back as spring training, or just really when you came up in July?
Yeah, again, spring training, I caught, I threw to Austin, I threw to, Benny a little bit. So it was a little bit different then. Obviously, since July, I've been able to, really work on things, both of us just being able to, understand the situations, each game, and kind of learn from, each game, moving forward. So, yeah, it's probably more specifically in July.
I'll go to the fourth row on your left, Cam.
Hey, Cam, over here. What is it about the Blue Jays lineup that is either difficult to navigate or that has made them particularly tough these last couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, again, they have a great lineup. Again, just didn't go our way those last two games. They play pretty well at home. So, again, taking it back here, I think we have a real good shot to, again, compete and, tie the series up.
What can you learn from those two games? Like, are you, seeing something from them that allows you to think that this could go differently?
Again, I mean, I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in this team. So, again, we're back home in New York, and, we play really good here. So, we don't like to get swept at home. So, it's just trusting ourselves, kind of forgetting those last two games and just resetting today and, pretending like it's 0-0. So, again, just can't really think about that too much. And, we know what we need to do tonight.
Up front on your right, Ron.
Looking back at your outing against Toronto last month, did you get frustrated by all those foul balls?
Again, I mean, it was impressive how many foul balls there were, but, again, I think I'm a different pitcher now than I was, when I faced them a month ago and, even from 2 weeks ago. So, again, they had a good game plan that day, and, they were able to foul a lot of balls off and, work my count. So, again, going into, tomorrow, just making sure that, I can make those adjustments and get the weak contact that I'm looking for.
As you analyzed that in the following days, did you get any insights to what they did to be able to foul so many pitches off?
Yeah, I mean, again, I talked about it briefly in my last post game interview, but again, that's in the past, and that's something I can't worry about now. So again, it's a new day, a new series, and I know what I need to do if I want to have a successful outing.
Ron, you can hand it to John right behind you.
You say you're a different pitcher now. Can you go deeper on that? What do you mean when you say that?
Again, I mean, you get thrown into the fire a little bit in July, with a little bit of experience in AA and AAA, just being able to learn, each outing, based on results, and then having conversation with the guys in the locker room. Just again, I've been making adjustments over the last 3 months, and again, I still have a lot to work on, but I've been able to tweak some things and kind of understand who I am as a pitcher. In these last probably month or so, just being able to kind of realize my identity a little bit more. So for me, it's just, again, taking each outing and learning from it and seeing how I can get better.
Good at Phil in your left third row.
Cam, you've been compared to Cole in many instances. Do you lean on him at all in terms of his guidance and advice?
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, we've grown a little bit closer over these last, this last month or so. So, I've had a lot of conversation with him, mentally, physically, bullpens, he's watched a few. So again, I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. So for me, it's like, man, I'm going to try and take what I can from him. And it's not just him as well. The other guys, the other pitchers, the other, position guys have been, really good to lean on, like Carlos and Max. So, again, Garrett specifically, I've been able to work with him a lot, over these last, couple weeks. And, he's definitely helped in, what I'm looking to do out there on the mound.
Aaron, this team has not been phased by much throughout the course of this season, but now you're facing elimination this postseason for the third time. Just how would you describe the determination in that room right now?
I mean, strong. Like, I trust in these guys and their, in their preparation and readiness and confidence that they're going to walk out there regardless of result. We're walking out there tonight expecting to win a game and expecting to be successful, and that's as far as our focus is, though, right now, is just keeping it small, go out there, win pitches, win innings, and hopefully force it to tomorrow.
Bieber, only a handful of starts this season coming back from injury. How different does he look in coming back as opposed to the guy that they've seen in the past?
I think he looks similar to me. Obviously this is, when he's been healthy, been one of the best pitchers in the league. So it'll be a challenge, and he's pitched well enough to, where they have real options over there to be on this postseason roster and making a start. So it'll be a challenge. Feel like we're certainly capable of having a good night against them, and that's our expectation.
I think Andy has a question on the right.
In deciding on your lineup today, how much were you factoring in the starting pitcher versus and the splits there and matchups there versus the fact that what they have in the bullpen, a couple lefties out there, keep your righties on the bench rather?
Yeah, it does. I mean, but I'm putting out there what I think has the best chance to be successful against Bieber. So, I understand he's, in the short time at the back end of the season, he's been a reverse split. Throughout his career, he's been very neutral. Some years one way, some years the other. Feel like he's very similar to that. But, the people they have in their pen, their lefties are very lefty specialist type guys. So having the threat of, especially a couple of our righties over there is a presence that I like to have. But it's more about, putting a lineup out there that I think has a chance to best be successful, against Shane today.
And obviously you had a choice at first base. What is Rice, considering there is a little bit of that reverse splits thing, what is he doing well, or what are you seeing that made you think that was the right choice?
I mean, he's just been, more than a dangerous hitter, especially here down the stretch, and kind of killed the ball all year against right-handed pitching. So, he's just a real threat in the middle of the order. While, Goldie has that presence looming over there, where hopefully we can get him into a good matchup, and even better than that, hopefully I'm putting him in late because we have a lead and he's playing defense at first base. So, yeah.
Bruce, the first row on your right.
Aaron, you said your players are determined. Do you have a gut feeling yourself on how this team will respond?
I think we'll respond well. This is, we've handled adverse situations. I feel like well all year, navigated that. It's a group that's very close knit, very close together. They trust in one another, and that's important this time of year. You want to kind of be playing for that guy next to you and trust in them and making sure you're communicating well with one another, which they do. But it's all comes down to going out and playing well, and I feel like our guys are in the right frame of mind to go do that.
Go to Ron, then John.
After spending 8 months with this group, how would you say its personality is the same and different than last year's group?
I thought last year's group came together well. You always go into spring training. Look, it's not everything, right? You can have years where there's some angst and everyone's not clicking or simpatico with each other, and that's okay too. I mean, you prefer the other way, where guys are super close. I feel like this group has built a real bond with one another. I think I felt that way about last year's club too. These guys trust each other a lot. They lean on each other a lot. They communicate really well with one another, like especially in-game stuff that they share with one another, are constantly talking through no matter what's going on. They do a really good job of that. And you know what? Going into every season in spring training, it's always kind of my sappy dream that you want to be on a team where you want it for the guy next to you more than you want it for yourself. And I feel like this team has achieved that with what they've done together and how they've grown together as a team throughout the year. So hopefully that serves us well, in a game tonight.
Go to John right behind you.
After the clinch against Boston, a couple guys in your team said convincingly that they didn't even know that no team had ever lost the first game in that 3-game set and then come back to win it. With all the information that these guys are able to get, how much of a skill is it in a sense to not take information that might not be helpful in that moment or might get in your head?
Again, everyone handles it different. Some guys know everything that's going on around them, and and another one of my things that I challenge these guys on from day one in spring training is make sure you know what you can handle, and if that's something that's going to be a distraction for you or affect your ability to do your job well, and you have a small window in a career here, if outside noise is going to bother you, then turn it off. So I think everyone's got to make that decision for themselves. And I think everyone's a little bit different. So there's probably some guys that are oblivious to, things that are going on. Some guys know probably intimately what people are saying and all those things. So there's no one way to do it, but I try and at least challenge these guys to make the right decision so that they can be the best they possibly can be.
The questions for Aaron? We'll go to Ian in the 4th row on your right.
You obviously want your players solely focused on winning tonight, but when the reality is there's a necessity to win 3 straight games against a very good opponent, are you in effect coaching against human nature, and if so, is that a difficult thing to do?
What the good thing is here down the stretch is, we've really latched on to this win today, and we almost scratched our way back to win a division, and it was kind of that mindset and that mantra. The final month, 6 weeks, is what happened yesterday. We talk about it in our advance and hitters meeting and things like that, or things that come up, but it's like, that's over with. We won another series, whatever. We didn't. It's like, let's go win today. That's as simple as our focus is, and that's as small as I want us to keep it, regardless of what happens. So these guys have done a really good job with that. And whatever happens tonight, I expect they'll go out and do the same.
2nd row on your left, Aaron. Peter?
Aaron, I wanted to ask you about Cam Schlittler. Just the fact that you guys called him up in July and he had 3+ months just to kind of get acclimated. Just how valuable was that to him and to you guys?
Well, it's really valuable for us as a team because he pitched so well, and obviously, had a game, just a game for the ages, and to get us to this point. So, but yeah, I think also very valuable for him. His growth has been awesome the last 2 years. To see him kind of, rifle through our system and continue to get better and better. And I think when he got to the big leagues, I think he got better. I think he does a really good job of, he's obviously confident in his ability, and he walks out there with some pretty good equipment. But he's super matter of fact and expects to do well, but also is kind of accountable and over himself too, and wanting to, man, how can I pull something from that outing that needs to be a little bit better, or build on something that was really good in that outing. I feel like he's done a really good job of that, and it's a testament to him and his confidence, but also his expectation of, I need to keep improving, and he's done great.
On the right against the wall, Jeff.
Aaron, the splitter more or less disappeared in baseball for a decade recently, and now it's being thrown more than it ever has in the postseason. What do you think helped bring it back, and what does it do that's made it so effective?
I don't know. Roger Craig's smiling somewhere, though, right? I don't know. Yeah, there are a number of guys. It does seem like. We have guys on our team that do it. Obviously, we saw a great one in Game 2 with Savage and Gosman. It's been a staple of his now. I don't know. I'm not so entrenched in the pitching world to see how these things get, brought up again, or, I think with what we know about pitching and how they outfit guys, and, I think more than ever, that's where the big advantage pitching wise is with all these cameras and technology and stuff, you're really able to outfit guys with what they should be doing based on how their body moves. And so I guess that's probably lent some to this pitch. So I didn't even think about it, but it does seem like it's way back in our game.